Hello everyone, welcome back to Code Lives. In this video, I'll demonstrate how I created a login page with a frosted glass effect, also known as the Glassmorphism effect, using HTML and CSS and fueled by 2 cans of Red Bull. I don't have any surprises for you at the end of the video, but I encourage you to watch as you might learn something valuable. Also, if you're new to the channel, I post weekly tutorials to help you start or enhance your developer journey. Hit that subscribe button so I can feed you more login page tutorials. So let's begin by creating a file with the .html extension and giving the browser info by holding Shift and 1 and then Enter. In the head tag, we can add elements that will be used by the browser. In this case, we keep everything and change the title to the login page. In the body element, set a div element and give it a container class. In the container, define another div element using the desk. Place an h1 element in it, and add the words on the left side of the page. Add a span element around the stay for separate styling later. Add a paragraph element for the small text. Add another div in the container, and give it a class of form container. Add an h2 element for the login title. Add a form element. This is where we will define the input element. Add a div with class input. Define a label and input element. Select the whole div and use Shift plus Alt plus arrow down to duplicate the following line and change the label and input type. Remember to set both inputs as required. In the form element, add an anchor element to link the user to a reset password page when they click on it. Add a button element to it. For the icon, you can add any intelligent call to action that comes to mind. I am using the arrow right icon from Hero Icons. Check them out and use any icon you want. In the form container, add a paragraph element and use it to tell the user where to click to sign up for a new account. And that's it for the HTML. We should have this boring HTML structure in the browser. If yours does not look like this, I'd suggest redoing it until you get it. Besides, no pressure, it's just a login page. For the CSS, begin by creating a CSS file. Link it to the HTML using the link element inside the head tag. I imported a font from Google Font. The link will be in the descriptions. Let's set some defaults. Give all elements a box sizing property with 0 margins and padding. All anchor tags should have no text decoration and should be white. Give the container class a flex display, a row direction, and its content just with space between. Also, align all items to the center. Give the body width and height 100 view. Set its background to the image in the folder. Link in the description. Set font family and provide a fallback. Give all text a white color. The image does not look right, and we also want content in the middle of the screen. To fix both issues, add a no repeat to the background property. Next, set the background size property to cover. Now that looks good. Now give the container a width and height of 100%. Use the desk class to target the h1 element. Give it a font size large enough and a font weight of 300. Target the span using the same method and give it a font weight of 500. Now, we are getting somewhere. Give the form container a width of 35 view width and a height of 80 view height. Set the background using the RGBA color code to control its opacity and give it a border radius and a box shadow with a color similar to the background. Set the backdrop filter to blur, giving it a value of 4 pixels. Do the same for the WebKit backdrop filter. Give it a border, give it a flex and direction column display, and set the gap. Just make the space around the value and set some padding. For the form, set its display and direction to inherit its parent values. You can do the same for the input div and set its font size to medium. Style the input element by setting both its outline and border to none. Height, width, border radius, and padding. This is finally coming together. To style the button, set the width to 100%. Height to 44 peaks, display to flex and align items to the center. Target the span containing the icon and set its width to 20 pixels. Remember to justify the button's content, center it, and remove its border. Give it a cursor property and set it to a pointer. That looks much better. We can do more by giving it a border radius setting, setting its background and text color. This looks almost done, but we must go to the HTML and add an anchor tag to the sign-up text. We can then target the anchor tag like this and set its font weight to 600. That should be done, but as we can see, it's not responsive. We can fix that using CSS media queries. Media queries allow us to style our page differently when certain conditions are met. In this case, when the width is less than or equal to 650 pixels, so we will adjust the container content style as follows. We will also adjust the font size of the H1 element. Not looking quite good, so we will set the contents and all items to the center. Also, adjust the form container by setting the width to 100% and changing the padding and the height to fit the content. Still not enough. So, we change the padding on the container. We should also make the H1 larger and give the container gap. Now, this looks great, but the background seems too blank. So, let's make changes. No. So we go with top left. That's better. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. As this is the first video on the channel with voiceover, let me know what I can improve. Also, hit the subscribe button to get all the new content. And as always, happy coding!